everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Hail Mary. I hope you had a beautiful weekend. Pretty good for me. The weather is finally getting better. We are out of these stupid freaking 90-degree weather days, and I'm able to actually wear a hoodie now, which is pretty nice. Pretty slow news week, I would say. We did have some situations where people were either very upset or very happy. And today we're going to talk about these situations. We're going to talk about the WNBA and the whole neon item situation. I'm not going to say it right now because I don't want to get in trouble. We're going to wait until later into the video to talk about that. But yes, the WNBA has a neon flying object situation going on right now that there's split things about it. People think that it's we'll talk about it in a little bit. We're going to talk about the Speedway Classic. A lot of people also didn't like that. There were some situations that went on there. People were calling that the Firefest 2.0. I think that's a little bit ridiculous, but we'll talk about that. We're going to talk about Gilly the Kid versus Johnny Manziel, and they may potentially be getting in a rough and rowdy ring, which I'm going to put every single dollar I have on Johnny Manziel if that happens. We're going to talk about Tyreek Hill. And apparently he is causing some trouble at camp, and he may be on the move. There have been a little bit of rumors about that. And then we're going to talk about Luka Doncic signing a very large contract with the Lakers, a very large extension. We have no questions today. We did not get any questions in the Discord server, but we do have our no context top 5 as well. So let's get right into it. I'm not going to talk about the WNBA thing first. We'll wait until a little bit later into the video so I don't get banned. Let's talk about the Speedway Classic. So let's get right into that. All right, the Speedway Classic. This was the MLB taking over Bristol Motor Speedway for one game for some reason. I don't know why they just didn't do an entire series here. They did all this for one game. But it was a game between the Atlanta Braves and the Cincinnati Reds, and it was branded as innovative. It was a brand new spectacle where baseball was basically played in the middle of the NASCAR oval. And this on paper seemed like a very cool idea. It drew in over 91,000 people, but apparently people were calling it Firefest 2.0. On Saturday, when the game was originally supposed to be played, there was heavy rain. There was over 2 hours of rain delays, and the game ended up getting suspended. So it had to be moved from Saturday over to Sunday. Now, nothing, that just happens. That is part of the game of baseball. You cannot control the rain. That's just that. So if people are mad about that, I really don't know what to tell you. Where people, I think, have a gripe to be upset. Apparently, the fan experience was terrible. There were 91,000 people in attendance, and people were criticizing it for its poor experience, labeling it the Firefest 2.0. Now, I don't really agree with it being the Firefest 2.0, because the Firefest, people could have actually died in that situation. Like, you were kind of just like stuck. This, if you were having a bad time, you could just leave. Like, just leave. It's really that simple. Those people for Firefest, yeah, they were kind of cooked. But where people were upset was during that rain delay, where it was over 2 hours long, and then they suspended play, people were flooding up to the concourse, and they were going to the concession stands. Now, Bristol Motor Speedway is a NASCAR place. NASCAR allows you to bring in your own food. For this MLB event, you weren't allowed to bring in your own food at all. So these concession stands were not equipped for 91,000 people wanting food. So they completely sold out during that rain delay, where people were going up and ordering hot dogs and nachos. They ran out of buns. So people were getting hot dogs with no buns. People were getting nachos, and they didn't have any cheese on it. And full price was still being charged for these items. People were slopping down glizzies with no buns. People were eating dry-ass chips, and they were still paying full price. A lot of people who were working concession stands had to put up signs saying that all they had left was beer and peanuts. Now, again, where I'm saying that this is not Firefest 2.0, you could have just left. Like just literally walk down some steps, walk out, and then go to a restaurant and get some food. Now, it is a little discouraging for more events like this in the future, because if the MLB has seemingly said that this was an overwhelming success. So I don't know what they're going to do. Hopefully they'll get some sort of logistics down so people aren't eating hot dogless buns and just swallowing down glizzies like they're Joey Chestnut. At least Joey Chestnut eats the bun. A lot of people were also saying that the lines for the entries, the shuttles were not good, and the venue seemingly was not designed for baseball. It was made for NASCAR. So a lot of people said that due to the nature of there being obviously a giant racetrack around the stadium, it was hard to see the game because baseball is much smaller than a racetrack. And some people said that it was fun. A lot of people said that they hated it. Seemingly a lot of people did enjoy it, or at least wanted to get their money's worth, because the game was suspended on the Saturday, so they brought it back over to Sunday. I'm guessing a lot of people just wanted to get their money's worth. You spent all this money on a ticket, you wanted to go and experience it. I'm just hoping that the MLB is going to do the right thing for the next time. They said that this was a test run, so 91,000 people were kind of guinea pigs paying full price for a test run. And even one of the presidents of NASCAR said, hey, we're not really equipped to handle 91,000 baseball fans for concessions. So MLB needs to step in and kind of figure that whole situation out, because waiting 45 minutes up to 90 minutes for a hot dog with no bun, for nachos with no cheese, and you still have to pay full price? A little bit ridiculous. I hope the MLB figures it out. I like when they do these sort of things, though. Like, they're fun. When they did the Field of Dreams stuff, and they're going over to Japan to play some games. Now, those places are equipped for baseball. Hopefully, if they ever do something like this again, where they're going out of their element for stadium purposes, they'll get the logistics figured out so people aren't waiting in line 45 minutes. So people aren't eating bunless hot dogs. So I get that it was a test. I don't like, though, for the 91,000 people who were in attendance, that it was a test that was still top dollar to them. I think that the MLB is calling this a rousing success because of the attendance numbers. They don't care that you had a bad time in the rain. Also, you can't control the rain. They don't care that you had to eat a bunless hot dog. They don't care that you had a hard time seeing from your seat. The only thing they cared about is that they got your money and that it boosted the attendance numbers. They want to put on the largest spectacle possible for baseball. That's all they care about, and that's why it was a, quote, success for them. I do like when they do stuff like this. It does make it fun. I don't know, again, why they only did this for one game. Why not make it an entire series? I feel like that would make a lot more sense, but the MLB does what the MLB does. They're trying to expand the game and grow the game. I made a TikTok video about how they can do that, and it's juicing balls and bats, because we just had 3 games this week that had over 25 runs combined scored in them. Yeah, people like that a lot more. I want football scores when I'm watching baseball. I don't want to watch these 2-1 snooze fests. And if I'm watching a 2-1 snooze fest, I don't want to do it from the tippy top of a NASCAR stadium where I can't see a damn thing. So hopefully the MLB figures this out. It was a cool idea, just improperly planned, I guess I'll say. But I will assume that the MLB will figure it out, and it will be a better spectacle in the future, or wherever they go. Wherever they go, they'll figure it out. All right, let's move on to the topic at hand that everybody's talking about. This is the WNBA dildo situation. 2 separate games. There was an incident on July 29th and an incident on Friday, August 2nd, where a fan in the stands threw a dildo onto the court. And the WNBA players are not happy about this. And a lot of people were saying that it's misogyny. Shut up. It's not misogyny. It is just straight up disrespect, though. to the players, but it's not misogynistic. Shut up. Somebody once threw a dildo during the Bills game. Is that misogynistic? No. Now where I will say that I agree with the players on this, it's a little bit dangerous because if you're driving to the hole, no pun intended, and you slip on a dildo, you're probably going to blow something out. You're probably, well, you know what I mean. But you're probably going to hurt something. You're probably going to roll an ankle. You're probably going to blow an ACL. Somebody's going to get hit in the face. The only thing that I hope that goes on with this is if somebody does throw it, I hope it goes straight up in the air and then sticks on the suction cup, because that would be the funniest thing of all time. It really would. I do agree with some of these players. It is very dangerous. You had Sophie Cunningham being like, hey, please stop throwing dildos on the court, which I didn't think we would ever see in the year 2025, that we would have to have somebody say that. They're saying it's not funny at all. It's a safety hazard. I completely disagree with the fact that they're saying it's not funny at all. It's fucking hilarious. It's very funny that people are doing this. The fact that where it's not funny is the fact that somebody can't get hurt. But I think that the WNBA, honestly, I think the WNBA should just fully embrace it and just do dildo night where people were able to throw dildos on the court. I think that would be very, very funny. What else was very funny is the first time it happened on the 29th, the WNBA cameras just zoomed right into it. They let you know that somebody threw a neon green dildo onto the court, and I thought that that was hilarious. And everybody in attendance, like the security and the staff, were all scared to touch it, and it was super funny. They had to throw like 20 towels on it before they picked it up. Very, very funny. The WNBA did end up arresting somebody for throwing this on the court, and the WNBA also issued a statement that you get an immediate ejection and a minimum ban from all WNBA arenas for 1 year. I can tell you right now that I think somebody who was going to a WNBA game strictly to throw a dildo on the court doesn't care that they get banned for a year. I highly guarantee you that. I think they're just doing it because they think it's funny and they'll never be back again. But there was an arrest made from somebody in Atlanta. They didn't identify who did it. One thing that I think is going to make it even worse. You are now able to bet on the color of the dildo that will next be thrown at a game. So it's like, I forget the site that it's on, but you can bet on the third color dildo that can be thrown onto the court. Somebody's going to rig this. Somebody's going to go to the next WNBA game, put all their money on whatever the highest odds are. Because, listen, if I had 10 grand, say the color blue was plus 5,000, and I had 10 grand to put on a game, I would put 10 grand on blue, and then I personally would be the one to throw it. I don't care that I would get arrested for that, because how much money you pulling from that? What, $500,000? I'm not really good at quick math, but that is completely worth it. It's like that dude in the Super Bowl who bet that there would be a streaker. He bet a bunch of money on it, and then guess what he did? He went on the field and streaked. So he got arrested. He got banned from NFL games. The dude pulled like $1 million. Completely worth it. Do you think I care that I would get banned from a WNBA arena for over a year? Absolutely not. For $500,000, I would do that at an NFL stadium. I would throw a dildo on the court at a WNBA game for $15 probably. Now, I'm not buying the dildo, but if somebody supplied the dildo and handed it to me and told me throw it on the court, I may do it for $15 and probably a bunless hot dog at Bristol Motor Speedway. But there is going to be somebody who's going to try rigging this where they choose the color blue or whatever the highest odds are. They throw down 10 grand, 100 grand, whatever. They're going to try to sneak in, and I think it is very funny to me. It is actually hilarious that the security at WNBA games now have to do pat downs for people who are trying to smuggle in dildos. And there's going to be one place where someone's going to try to hide it, and I'm not going to say it because I will get banned, but that is very, very funny. And then they're going to have to start doing cavity searches. I love this. This is so funny. This is one of the best things that has ever happened. As long as no player gets hurt, this is one of the funniest things that's ever happened in sports. And again, it is not misogyny. If you think it's misogynistic, you are a problem because somebody threw a dildo during the Bills game a few years ago, and that's not misogyny, so shut up. But this is a very funny situation, and I hope somebody wins a boatload of money on throwing a dildo on the court because that is hilarious. All right, let's move on to a topic that I seemingly haven't followed to its fullest extent. I will put my hand up on that. But it's something that people are talking about right now. Apparently, Gilly the Kid and Johnny Football, there might be, there isn't a confirmed Rough and Rowdy, but since Gilly works for Barstool, I think this makes complete sense. So, Gilly the Kid and Johnny Football have been getting into some sort of Twitter beef, because Gilly criticized Cam Newton's comments over Jalen Hurts, and for some reason, it made Johnny Football mad, and Johnny said, like, I'm going to slap the fuck out of you, and, like, set up a Rough and Rowdy date. And why is Johnny taking offense to Gilly saying something about Cam Newton's comments? It quite literally doesn't make sense to me. From what I saw, Gilly the Kid said that Johnny's doing this because he's been hitting too much of the 8-ball. I will say right now, first of all, I love Rough and Rowdy, and it's usually close to where I live. I actually went to one when it was in, where was it? Charleston, West Virginia, or Charlestown, West Virginia. I forget. Either one of those, but I will be going to this. If Johnny Manziel was fighting, I would like to go back to this. I would like to go to this. I would put every single penny in my bank account, though, on Johnny Football. I don't think this is actually going to happen, but it's something that has been taking steam on social media. And since it was, since it was kind of a slow news day, it's all, it's just something to talk about. So, yeah. I just don't know why Johnny Football is taking offense to Gilly saying something about Cam Newton, because Cam Newton, I don't think, has commented back to Gilly. And Gilly is also from Philadelphia, so why wouldn't he say something about his team's quarterback? This is just such a weird situation. Listen, I'm a big Johnny Football fan, but Gilly may be onto something. Johnny might be on the booger sugar. Listen, I don't know, but if there was a Rough and Rowdy fight that was taking place between Johnny Manziel and Gilly the Kid, I may mortgage my house on Johnny Football, because that would be it would end in the first round, to be honest. I think that they should make Johnny do it drunk, but I even think that Johnny drunk would still win. I think that they should have Johnny have his dominant hand behind his back. That would make it a little bit more fair. I still might take Johnny, though, in that situation. So, just a little Twitter beef I wanted to talk about. But, very, very slow news week, as you'll see. Hey, before we get to our final two topics, I want to give a big shout out to Underdog Fantasy. And using the code HMM when you sign up can get you a free 0.5 pick, which is basically a gimme pick. It is like Aaron Judge needs 0.5 plate appearances. Like, that's all he needs. Or you get the football season, it's like Joe Burrow needs 1 passing yard. Like, that is definitely going to happen unless he drops back on the first drive or the first play and snaps his ankle, which is very highly unlikely. So, you sign up for Underdog using my code HMM. You are going to get a free 0.5 pick. Plus, you can get up to $1,000 in a deposit match, which is basically, again, just free money. I absolutely love Underdog, especially during football season. It's one of my favorite things to use. I like just setting my lineups. I go absolutely insane with it sometimes. I throw these absolute Hail Mary lineups because you can win up to $999 extra money, which that's absurd if you can hit something like that. But you can do it by using Underdog, and you can throw a free pick into those giant entries, a free 0.5 pick with the code HMM. When you sign up for Underdog, you're also going to get up to $1,000 in bonus cash as well when you sign up. Use the code HMM. I absolutely love Underdog. I use it all the time. And during football season, I post my picks over on TikTok. So if you want to check those out, be sure to follow code HMM. Thank you so much to Underdog. Let's get back to our next topic, which is about Tyreek Hill. So Tyreek Hill is the latest discussion from training camp because apparently there is just a lot going on with him. There have been issues with him and Tua, and Tyreek Hill is saying that him and Tua need to get back on the same page with their chemistry. The coaching staff for Miami is getting a little bit irritated with some of his comments. He was talking about Devon Achane, saying that he needs to be out of short yardage situations. And he's also apparently not showing up to team stretches, which they said that before this, he's never, ever once has showed up to team stretches, but they are now kind of reiterating how important it is for him to show up to this. And I don't think it's the fact that he's not showing up to team stretches and he's not stretching. I think it's more of a overarching thing where Miami needs to change their culture. They had this culture where, you know, they were going to try to beat you with speed. They were going to try to beat you with innovative offenses. And a lot of things have gone wrong for them. The Tyreek Hill trade, you know, seemingly for his own stats, it has worked out, but for the success of the team, it hasn't worked out. Tua's having a hard time staying healthy. Their entire secondary pretty much sucks. They brought in Minkah Fitzpatrick, but they got rid of Jalen Ramsey. They're losing all of their starting corners. They're all getting hurt or they all left. Their secondary's decimated. They need some sort of a culture shift down in Miami. And Tyreek Hill, it doesn't seem like he's taking very well to that. And there has been some trade speculations with him possibly doing that. There's possibly a trade speculation with Terry McLaurin going to Miami and Miami sending Tyreek Hill to Washington. But rumors from what I've seen is that Miami also wants a high pick involved when trading Tyreek Hill, which I think it should be the opposite. I know that Terry McLaurin wants big money, but I feel that right now you're getting more bang for your buck with Terry McLaurin. You're going to be able to keep him longer. He's younger. Tyreek Hill has specified he's not playing much longer. Terry McLaurin has much longer on his career than Tyreek Hill does. So the Dolphins wanting Terry McLaurin plus a high pick for Tyreek Hill, I think makes no sense at all. And they want to change the culture, but I think one way to actually do that is to get rid of Tyreek Hill because he's kind of causing problems right now down at training camp. But I guess the Dolphins don't want to budge. Is it because they don't want to admit that they maybe made a mistake trading for Tyreek Hill from the Kansas City Chiefs? There's a reason the Chiefs got rid of him. There is. I mean, yes, it's because Patrick Mahomes can kind of do anything with anybody and make them successful, but they were putting up crazy numbers together, Patrick Mahomes and Tyreek Hill. There's more to just football reasons as to why Kansas City got rid of Tyreek Hill, and I think Miami is starting to see flashes of that. It was working for a little bit. They were putting up crazy numbers. Tyreek Hill was going insane. But when you're not making the playoffs, when you're not winning games, these things that are off the field football issues start to headline themselves and start to be thrown into the spotlight. And I think that Miami doesn't want to admit that they may have gotten fleeced on this Tyreek Hill trade. And if they do trade him to Washington, they want to recoup a significant investment back as to what they traded for him. Tyreek Hill has been going off like through off seasons, the last 2 off seasons, saying that he doesn't want to be in Miami, and he's kind of causing problems right now. I don't see Miami making any sort of splash right now in the AFC, even the AFC East. I mean, right now, if I had to predict it right now, I think they're the worst team in the AFC East. say what you want about the Jets. Now, if Justin Fields was like hurt, then yeah, it's different. But I think it's the Bills, it's the Patriots, it's the Jets, and then it's the Dolphins. I think the Dolphins are going to be last in that division. I think they're not going to be bottom feeders in the NFL. They're not going to be a bottom 5 team. I don't think so at all. They're going to win games because they do have talent on the offensive side of the ball. They're going to win games because of that. They're just going to get in these shootout type games because their secondary is crazy. They are going to be this year's Cincinnati Bengals from last year, where the Bengals defense, they couldn't stop anything, but they were just putting up crazy numbers on offense. They're going to win games like that. They're going to lose games like that. And I think that they're going to be the bottom of the AFC East. And then they'll be like I don't think they'll be in a wild card position. I can see them being 7-10 this year. I have to fully go through their schedule right now, but Tyreek Hill's not really buying into what's going on right now. He's kind of causing problems. Their secondary's really bad. I don't think that it is worth them keeping Tyreek Hill. I really don't. I think that they need to kind of steer away from all of that. Get rid of some of these older guys. Keep Devon Achane. Keep Jalen Waddle. Keep Tua. Keep those guys. Some of these older guys you may want to move away from. Maybe even move away again from Minkah Fitzpatrick. I know you brought him in, but maybe you can get a draft pick for him for the next year. Maybe try to get some draft picks for Tyreek Hill. Excuse me. But I don't think it's really working out right now with Tyreek Hill and the Dolphins. Sorry, I have the hiccups. All right, our final topic of the day, Luka Doncic got paid. 3-year, $165 max contract extension with the Los Angeles Lakers with a player option for the final year. He ended up signing this on August 2nd, and this comes 6 months after he was traded from the Dallas Mavericks to the Lakers. And people were saying that he is locked in. They are saying that he is noticeably improved in physical condition and that he is apparently shredded. His transformation was predominantly featured on the latest issue of the Men's Health magazine, and he said that he is now on a strict gluten-free diet, low sugar, high protein. He is aiming for 250 grams of protein daily. He's working out, doing 2-a-days, a lot of resistance band training. It looks like what the Dallas Mavericks traded away Luka for, because they said that he was out of shape and he was lethargic and all that. Yeah, he completely changed all this up, and it got him paid. It got him 3 years, $165 million. Skip Bayless is a little bit skeptical of this. Apparently, they said that it is a PR stunt and that Bayless notably referred to Luka Doncic, sorry, I'm stuttering, as a fat rat prior to his transformation. And Stephen A. Smith has a praise with caution, saying that it is going to be hard for him to keep this up through a demanding WNBA, it would be WNBA season, through an NBA season. I think this is not like, what are we talking about? Yes, it's tough to keep up with 2-a-day workouts and a strict diet through a entire NBA season, but he's gonna be constantly running on the floor, and hopefully this will improve his overall game, because he was a huge defensive liability in the playoffs. The dude played zero defense whatsoever, so I'm hoping that this helps him, play better on the defensive side of the ball, because we know that Luka is a very prolific scorer. Sorry. But yeah, Luka got absolutely paid. I wonder what this means for the future with LeBron. I know that there were like trade rumors with him. I don't think LeBron is going anywhere, but will LeBron, like, say they make a deep run this year or they win a championship, will LeBron, what is he, 41 years old, 42 years old? Will he want to stay around until the end of this Luka extension? I don't know. Or will the torch be passed to Bronny at some point? Now, it's never Bronny and LeBron are two separate players altogether. You know, Bronny will never be LeBron unless something just like some sort of miracle happens. But you know, Bronny can really improve his game, and will we start seeing for a few years down the line, like maybe the Lakers win a championship this year, make a deep run, and LeBron's like, hey, I'm done, I'm calling it quits. We see Luka, we see Bronny, and then they can bring on another superstar, and that's their big three. I don't know. We could see something like that, but I think that this was very good for the Lakers to get him signed for this extension. I like that Luka Doncic is locked in. I think that the Dallas Mavericks, while they're seeing Luka making this transformation, they're like, okay, whatever, because they do have Cooper Flagg now. They do have Anthony Davis. They got pieces in place to make a run of their own. But I think at the end of the day, they kind of wish that they stuck around with Luka. There's a little bit of that fan base, and when I say a little bit, I mean a lot of that fan base who was still very upset that they got rid of him. But good for the Lakers to get him signed. Good for Luka. Really locking in, really taking a good approach to get, quote, shredded, as people were saying. I hope that it translates to the defensive side of the ball for basketball because, again, he was a pylon. He was a absolute liability defensively last year for the Lakers in the playoffs, and I hope this helps out, and I hope that he proves Stephen A. and Skip Bayless wrong, mostly Skip Bayless, because Skip Bayless is a troll and a rat himself, and I hope that Luka Doncic swishes a few in his face. And I also think that Stephen A. is saying proceed with caution because he wants Luka to fail, because if Luka fails, LeBron fails, and he hates LeBron. That is why I think that, but I think that deep down, he wants Luka Doncic to succeed. Skip Bayless just hates everything that isn't the Spurs, or whoever his favorite team is. I think it's the Spurs. I don't fucking know. But Skip Bayless is a troll. All right, everybody. There were no questions this week from the Discord. So if you want to ask any sort of questions, it doesn't have to be about sports. It could be quite literally about anything. Be sure to join the Discord server. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link in my bio. If you're listening to this on Spotify, if you go to my TikTok page, you can join my Discord server there. Come hang out. Come talk about sports with us, especially when football season goes around. We're going to be really just hammering home stuff about football. So we're going to be moving on to our no context top 5. Our no context top 5 is where I give you a list that is a top 5 list, and you need to tell me what the list is about. And whoever gets it correct gets a shout out on the video. I'll put your name on the YouTube video. You will get a shout out for the entire world to see, and you will be famous for your entire life. And you can let your friends and family know that you got the no context top 5 right. And when we start getting more people participating in it and more people in the Discord server, I may start giving away merch items and stuff like that for people who get the no context top 5 right. I may make hats that say like no context top 5 champion, or I don't know. Something fun like that I will send to you absolutely free of charge for like the first person who gets it right. Anyway, I'm on a tangent right now. Here is the no context top 5. Again, it could be as simple as best quarterbacks in the NFL. It could be as broad as worst shoes to wear during a snowstorm. It literally could be as crazy as that. So here's your no context top 5. Number 1, we have the Pittsburgh Pirates. Number 2, we have the Colorado Rockies. Number 3, we have the Oakland A's. Number 4, we have the New Orleans Pelicans. And number 5, we have the Carolina Panthers. That is your no context top 5. Whoever tells me what that list is will get a shout out on the next video. So yes, that is your no context top 5. I will read it off again. It is the Pittsburgh Pirates, the Colorado Rockies, the Oakland A's, or wherever they are now, the Sacramento A's, or the Las Vegas Rays in a few years. It depends on when you're listening to this. The New Orleans Pelicans and the Panthers, the Carolina Panthers, not the Florida Panthers. They're, the Carolina Panthers. So that is your no context top Hive! All right, everybody, thank you so much for listening to this latest episode of the Hail Mary. Be sure to follow us everywhere: TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Snapchat, anywhere else we are. I really can't think of it right now. If you're listening to this on Spotify, please give us 5 stars. It really helps out a ton. And yeah, follow us everywhere. Check out our short form content. I try to post at least 2 to 3 videos every single day. I want to start making a little bit more long form videos. I'm trying to find an editor. I got to find an editor. If you've made it this far into the podcast and you are a video editor, hit me up go to my TikTok DMs. Hit me up. Let me know that you're an editor. And yeah, because I hate editing. I really freaking hate editing videos. And I want to start making long form, but I just want to do the talking into the camera. I don't want to do the editing part. I want someone else to do that. And you will be paid for it. I will pay you. It's not like you're going to be doing this for free for me. This will be not a job, but a side gig. You can make beer money from this. Because I'm not a billionaire and I can't afford that. I'm not Alex Hormozy or Mr. Beast. Not yet. Not yet, at least. I'm not even PMT or not even your favorite podcast because I have like three subscribers. Anyway, be sure to follow us everywhere. And if you are a video editor and you made it this far, please hit me up in my TikTok DMs. I hope you have a beautiful day, everybody, and I will see you all again on Friday. Peace out, everybody. Have a beautiful day.